Reporting tonight, U.S. Attorney John Durham is, quote, examining former CIA Director John Brennan, asking for emails, call logs, and documents relating to his role and how the Russia investigation began. Joining me now, Fox News contributors Leslie Marshall and Marc Thiessen. Welcome to you both.
Hi, Shannon.
Mark, are you there?
I'm here.
Okay,
yes.
Good. All right. So let me read through some of this. There is the New York Times talking about this, talking about there's going to be the presumption or the appearance that the president is using the DOJ to go after his enemies. It says the president has long attacked Mr. Brennan as part of his narrative about so-called deep state cabal of Obama administration officials who tried to sabotage his campaign. And Mr. Trump has held out Mr. Durham's investigation as a potential avenue for proving those claims. Marty, where do you think this is going?
Well, first of all, I think that's ridiculous. John Durham is a career prosecutor of unimpeachable character, and I use that term intentionally. He is the guy that the Obama administration, Eric Holder, turned to investigate the CIA interrogation program. And despite the fact that the administration was opposed to the program, he found that they had committed no crimes. So he's not going to. Donald Trump doesn't control John Durham. John Durham is going to do what John Durham wants. And quite frankly, I'm glad that he has John Brennan in his crosshairs, because it couldn't happen to a nicer guy. There are a lot of people out there who falsely accused Donald Trump of conspiring with Russia. But the worst of the worst were the people who had access to classified intelligence and who used their positions to suggest that they knew something that we didn't, that there was really secret evidence that Donald Trump colluded with Russia. And that's exactly what John Brennan did. He's called him a traitor. He said he aided and abetted the enemy. He said he was in Putin's pocket, that he was a Russian agent. And it turns out when the Mueller report came out, none of that was true. The Americans took those charges seriously because someone serious like John Brennan, who's a CIA director, said them. And it turned out none of it was true. And so they want to get to the bottom of it. How, and that's what John Durham is investigating. How did this country spend 2 years and tens of millions of dollars chasing a conspiracy theory? And I think every American wants to know the answer.
Well, I don't think John Brennan is worried, at least not publicly. Here is what he said. I think we have it. Okay, this is what he said. I will tell you. I will read it for you. I will not try to imitate his voice.
You'll say it much better than he did.
And listen, this is not post the report that he's now in trouble, but this is just the speculation that he would be interviewed by Durham. Here's what he said. Yep. I feel good about what it is, as we did an intelligence community, and I feel very confident and comfortable with what I did. So I have no qualms whatsoever about talking with investigators who are going to be looking at this in a fair and appropriate manner. Leslie, should he have anything to be worried about?
He should only have something to be worried about if he lied when he was under oath. And quite frankly, I don't think so. If you look at what the CIA said to the FBI regarding the dossier, and I quote, they said not to rely on the dossier because it was, quote, as credible as an internet rumor. But I will say, Mark, you know what? I was agreeing with you at the beginning, and I was a little worried. But then all of a sudden, you just because if we're going to investigate people, if we're going to investigate people because we don't like them or we don't like what they've said, I've got a list of ex-boyfriends we could start with. But that's not what's going on here, Shannon. What is going on is if you're investigating investigators and you have conversations between then FBI Director James Comey and then CIA Director Brennan, it's obvious to me that they would include this within the scope. I don't think they're going after Brennan. I think they're trying to be thorough in their investigation.
Well, Mark, you know at points there have been some speculations about the finger pointing, Comey, Brennan, who's going to take the fall for what. What do you think about Brennan and whether he should be worried? I mean, he says, listen, whatever I've done, I'm happy to put it out there, and it's all above board.
You know, James Comey thought he was going to come out fine in the Inspector General's report, and it didn't turn out that way. You know, he said a lot of things that were not true, and the FBI now we just had the FISA judge excoriate the FBI for misleading and intentionally and falsifying evidence in the pursuit of Donald Trump. So, you know, the FBI thought they were going to come out okay, and everyone was spinning it for the first few days that, oh, there was no political bias. You know, I don't know. We'll see. It depends on what he did. Did the intelligence community have anything to do with starting this investigation? I don't know. The reason why this investigation is so important is because none of us know the answers. But what we do know is that Donald Trump didn't, after all this time Mueller found and all the millions of dollars spent, there was no conspiracy. It was a conspiracy theory. So we do need to know, how did our government get ginned up into this miasma of investigation that paralyzed our country for 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, we got a little bit of that from the Horowitz report. We know the Durham report is going to be much more expansive. We'll get more answers, we think. All right, panel, stick around. Leslie, we'll kick off with you next. We're going to talk about who scored, who floundered, the key moments of tonight's debates, our winners and losers next.